The morning I was supposed to change my life almost ended it. The snow started falling before sunrise. Thick, heavy, relentless. The kind of snow that doesn't just cover the road. It erases it. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel of my old car. The heater barely worked. My suit jacket hung awkwardly over my shoulders, slightly wrinkled from sleeping in it. I couldn't afford to mess this up. As a single dad, this interview wasn't just a job opportunity, it was survival. Rent was 2 weeks overdue. My daughter's school had sent another reminder about unpaid fees. This was my last shot. The company was offering a senior logistics manager position. Big salary, stability, health insurance, a future. And I was already 20 minutes late because of the storm. Just get there, I whispered to myself. Nothing else matters. Then I saw it. At first, I thought it was just snow piled on the roadside. But as my headlights cut through the white haze, I noticed something unnatural. A car half buried in a ditch. The driver's side door was slightly open. I slowed down. Don't stop. That voice in my head was loud. You'll lose the interview. Someone else will help her. You can't afford to be late. But another voice was louder. What if no one else stops? I pulled over. The wind hit me like knives as I stepped out. Snow swallowed my shoes with every step. I forced my way toward the vehicle. Inside, a woman sat slumped over the steering wheel. Her hair was dusted with snow. Her lips were pale. The engine was dead. I knocked on the window. No response. Panic tightened my chest. I pulled the door open. Mom, can you hear me? Her eyes fluttered open weakly. I lost control. Her voice was shaking. She wasn't just scared. She was freezing. You can't stay here, I said. You'll get hypothermia. I tried calling for help. No signal. Of course, this stretch of road barely had reception on a good day. I looked at my watch. 35 minutes late now. If I left right this second, I might still make it. But she wouldn't. I removed my coat and wrapped it around her shoulders. Lean on me, I said. Getting her out wasn't easy. The snow was waist-deep in some spots. The wind howled like it wanted us gone. By the time I got her into my car, my hands were numb. I blasted the heater. She looked at me through trembling lashes. Why did you stop? I gave a small shrug. Because someone would want someone to stop for my daughter. Silence filled the car. After a few minutes, color slowly returned to her face. My name is Elena, she said softly. I'm Daniel. You're not from around here? I am. Just heading to something important. I didn't elaborate. She studied my suit. My nervous glances at the clock. A job interview? She guessed. I exhaled. Yeah. Her eyes widened slightly. And you stopped. I didn't answer. Instead, I turned the car around. The nearest town was 20 minutes back. Every mile I drove felt like I was driving further away from my future. But some strange calm settled inside me. When we reached a small emergency clinic, nurses rushed out with a wheelchair. Before they took her inside, she grabbed my hand. Her grip was surprisingly firm now. How do I repay you? She asked. I smiled faintly. You don't. No, she insisted. I will. Just stay safe. And with that, I left. No number exchanged. No expectations. Just a missed interview. As I drove home through the storm, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something told me to answer. Hello. A deep, authoritative voice replied. Is this Daniel Harris? Yes. This is Robert Hale, CEO of Hale Logistics. My heart stopped. That's the company I was supposed to interview with. Yes, he said calmly. And you were over an hour late. My stomach dropped. I'm sorry, sir. I can explain. I already know why you were late. Silence. My sister called me from the clinic. My breath caught.
Elena Hale.
The world seemed to tilt. She told me everything. I couldn't speak. She said a man on his way to an important interview chose her life over his opportunity. Another pause. Come to the office tomorrow.
9 Uhr morgens.
Sir, you're hired. But tomorrow isn't an interview. My pulse thundered in my ears. It's your first day. The call ended. I sat in my car frozen, but not from the cold. For the first time in years, I felt like maybe doing the right thing didn't cost me everything. Maybe it changed everything. The next morning, the storm had passed. But my life was just beginning to shift. I walked into Hale Logistics headquarters wearing the same suit, now properly pressed. The building was massive. Glass walls, marble floors, everything screamed power. A receptionist smiled knowingly. Mr. Harris? They're expecting you. They're plural. I was escorted to the top floor. When the elevator doors opened, I saw her.
Elena.
No longer pale or weak. She stood confidently beside a tall man in his late 50s, sharp suit, commanding presence.
Robert Hale.
Elena walked toward me first. You came, she said softly. I wasn't sure this was real. She smiled. It is. Robert extended his hand. Daniel. Not many people would have stopped yesterday. I shook his hand firmly. Anyone should have. He nodded slowly. But they didn't. We sat down. Robert leaned back in his chair. My sister isn't just my sister, he said. She's the co-owner of this company. My eyes widened slightly. And yesterday, she was driving back from finalizing a multi-million-dollar expansion deal. Elena added quietly, if you hadn't stopped, I might not have made it. The weight of that hit me hard. Robert continued, we built this company on principles. Integrity, responsibility, humanity. He looked directly into my eyes. You demonstrated all three before even working here. Elena leaned forward. When I asked how I could repay you, I meant it. I swallowed. I didn't do it for repayment. I know, she said. That's why you deserve it. Robert slid a folder across the table. Senior Operations Director, not manager. My head snapped up. Sir, that's a higher position, he finished. With decision-making authority. I opened the folder. The salary was more than I'd hoped for. Health benefits, housing allowance, and something else. Education sponsorship. For your daughter, Elena said gently. My throat tightened. How did you? You mentioned her in the car, she replied. I blinked back the sudden sting in my eyes. Robert stood. We don't reward resumes here, Daniel. He extended his hand again. We reward character. I shook it. But the real moment came as I was leaving. Elena stopped me near the elevator. You saved my life, she said quietly. I just gave you a ride. No, she said, her voice softer now. You gave me proof that good people still exist. There was something unspoken in her eyes. Something warm. Lunch? She asked carefully. I smiled. This time I won't be late. As the elevator doors closed, I realized something powerful. I almost drove past her that day. I almost chose convenience over compassion. But sometimes, the storm that tries to block your path is the very thing guiding you toward your destiny. 3 months later, life felt unfamiliar in the best way. The job was everything Robert promised. Long hours, big responsibilities, bigger results. For the first time in years, I wasn't calculating grocery prices in my head. But the real change wasn't in the office. It was Elena. What started as a simple lunch turned into quiet dinners. Then evenings spent laughing over stories about my daughter. She didn't just listen. She cared. And somehow, she fit into our world like she had always belonged there. One evening, after a company charity gala, Elena and I stood on the balcony overlooking the city lights. "You know," she said softly, "that storm could have taken everything from me." I looked at her. It didn't. She turned toward me, eyes searching mine.
No.
"It gave me you." My heart pounded harder than it had the day Robert hired me. "I don't want you to ever feel like this is repayment," she continued. "What I feel, it's not gratitude." I stepped closer. "Good. Because I didn't save you for a reward." A small smile curved her lips. "Then what did you save me for?" I hesitated, not from fear, but from certainty. "For this moment," I said. "For whatever this becomes." Snow began to fall again, light and gentle this time. Nothing like the storm that first brought us together. Elena slipped her hand into mine. "Daniel," she whispered, "are you ready to stop surviving and start living?" I squeezed her hand. "For the first time in a long time," I said. "Yes." And this time, when the snow fell, it didn't feel cold at all.